already know, this October, our family at SFLA suffered a tragic loss as our field director and my friend, Courtney Blythe Gordon, her 21-week preborn daughter, Sophie, were killed in a tragic car accident by a drunk driver, leaving our conference in Georgia. 10 days later, our pregnant on campus coordinator, our friend, John Scharfenberger, passed away due to his injuries. The loss was devastating to our team and to many of you who personally relied on John and Courtney as mentors on your campus. You know, Courtney was one of the most amazing people I've ever met. She possessed all of the fruits of the Spirit, and her life statement was, "Jesus Christ is my Lord, abolishing abortion is my calling." Courtney and I worked together often late in the office, contacting many of you about possible events, traveling together, speaking to many of you about abortion in the hopes that we can train you to become pro-life leaders and inspire others. Our logo at SFLA is a candle lighting another candle, because our mission is to inspire, train, and set you out into the world. We want to train new leaders like John Scharfenberger, who I first met in Ave Maria a few years ago when he was leading the Ave Maria Students for Life group. Then we invited him to be a Missionary for Life summer intern. And then who I offered a job, I said, as soon as you graduate, you can come and working for us. Those people like John, those leaders, who we know will be the ones responsible for finally abolishing abortion in America. And the best way to sum up John and Courtney's lives is to say that they lived their lives like a candle. They lit candles everywhere they went, thousands of them. Many of you in this room were lit by them. I have one picture of Courtney in my wallet of 2 twin baby girls that she saved simply by taking a scared young woman out to Denny's. And just a week before his death, before the accident, John came in my office excited because a group he had just visited in Florida and was helping to start a pro-life group emailed him to tell him that they just had a baby saved from a local abortion facility they were praying at. And even though the Lord called Courtney, Sophie, and John home, we know that they're still saving lives, because the candles they lit, those of you in this room, you're lighting other candles now, and you're saving lives. So tonight, and every year until we abolish abortion, SFLA is going to give out 3 awards dedicated to Courtney, John, and Sophie. Dedicated to inspiring you in this room to be that candle, the light in the darkness, as Courtney and John did. You know, one evening this summer, Courtney and I were at the SFLA office and we were talking, and this is how weird we were. We were talking about how awesome it's going to be when we put ourselves out of a job. When there's not going to be any legal abortion, what are we going to do? And the question came up, okay, so what are we going to put in the abortion museum? We have a Holocaust museum, so we're going to have an abortion museum. And we were thinking about all the people that we know in the pro-life movement, heroes of ours, who probably will never make it into that museum. They won't be in the textbooks. And so the next day we came up at a team meeting of the Everyday Heroes Awards. We were thinking of the slavery abolitionist movement, of those thousands who fought to abolish slavery for more than 30 years in America. They lost their jobs, they were publicly ridiculed, beaten, their families were put at risk, and some were even killed. We thought of those abolitionists who today we don't even know the names of. We know the names of 1 or 2 in our history books. After the Civil War, our culture began to change, began to respect the lives of those of different backgrounds. There's no monument to them. They're not going to pass a monument for the abolitionists tomorrow in Washington, D.C. So tonight, we want to honor a few of our heroes. Heroes of those of us in the SFLA team, a few heroes of Courtney and John's, and a few heroes I want you to know about. You're not going to see them on TV, probably not yet, and you probably won't read about them in history books. But you need to know who these incredible people are, because they've literally changed our world. Kathleen Wilson founded Mary's Shelter in Fredericksburg, Virginia with two of her friends in 2007. While various events inspired the three friends to start the home, Kathleen's inspiration came from an encounter with a desperate young woman outside an abortion facility, who in response to Kathleen's question of, "What can I do for you?" she said, "What can you do for me?" Today, Mary's Shelter has grown into a community outreach, consisting of 3 rental homes with the space to house 11 women and their children. 11 families will have a place to live because of Mary.
I didn't have anywhere to live, so I was going through a lot of different numbers, calling different shelters, trying to get into places, but it was really hard because I had 3 kids and I was pregnant.
I am having another baby, plus I have a 17-month-old, so I lost my apartment because I wasn't able to take care of everything on my own.
For me, in my country, if a woman pregnant is embarrassing without married.
My time was up at the other homeless shelter, so I didn't really have anywhere to go.
I was actually living with a boyfriend, which is Henry and Madeline's dad, or my other youngest, so I was living with him, but we ended up having a breaking up and all that, so we just didn't work out when I was 7 months.
My mom wanted to have abortion. I didn't want to have abortion, so I found Mary's Shelter. Everyone kept referring me to Mary's Shelter, so I prayed about it and I came here. My favorite thing about Mary's Shelter is my own room, and I can have my daughter there and not running around everywhere. It's our own privacy, so that's what I like about Mary's Shelter.
For putting action into the pro-life movement's words, for stepping up to make a real impact in the lives of women. SFLA is pleased to name Kathleen Wilson, the 2012 Courtney Blythe Gordon Everyday Hero Award winner. Larry and your family, will you please come up with Kathleen to the stage? Don Blythe has served in the pro-life movement for over 28 years and is a regular sidewalk counselor outside of abortion facilities in his hometown of Stockton, California. His organization, At the Well Ministries, goes to dozens of college campuses and high schools each year, engaging students to change hearts and minds about abortion. I first learned about Uncle Don from his niece, Courtney Gordon, who was proudly boasting of her uncle that she knew had saved thousands of preborn lives through his persistent, loving approach outside of the abortion facilities.
The day I met Uncle Don, we said hello, and then we were off to the abortion clinic. It's the same abortion clinic he's been going to for about 20 years now, and he saved over 1,000 babies there. Uncle Don is not only the hero because he has saved so many lives, but he encourages other pro-lifers like myself to continue in our fight. On behalf of all the lives that Uncle Don has saved, we say thank you.
One saved baby at a time. SFLA is pleased to name Don Blythe the 2012 Sophie Joy Gordon Everyday Hero Award. Tonight, Courtney's husband Ben and his family are going to come up and present the award to Uncle Don.
Hold on.
I first met John Paul Deddens after we launched SFLA full-time way back in 2006. John Paul had a vision for taking his work on campus, statewide, and full-time. After graduation, he told me he had received a lucrative job offer, but instead he turned it down to fundraise his own salary and work full-time for his organization. Today, John Paul has transformed the state of Illinois into the most active state for student pro-life organizing.
John Paul Deddens has taken the campus pro-life movement in Illinois from a crawl to full steam ahead. His out-of-the-box thinking, his unique ways and creative ideas, he has unified the campuses in Illinois, and he has created a ripple effect throughout the state. He has days of action, which are coordinated events that he does with each campus. He single-handedly spearheads now the lobbying that goes on in Illinois. He has created a dynamic mentorship program, creating the leaders on campuses into tomorrow's leaders of the nation. I am so honored that I get to work alongside John Paul. I'm honored that I get to learn from him, and he is truly an everyday hero.
SFLA is pleased to name John Paul Deddens the 2012 Jonathan Daniel Scharfenberger Everyday Hero Award. Joins me up here on stage for the Student Group Awards. I know you're dying. I want to extend a special thank you to a student who stepped up and stood in the gap for us, Megan Hamrick. Megan, will you please come up and join me on stage? Megan spent countless hours at the hospital with me, John Scharfenberger, and his family during John's 10-day battle. She was the first person I called for help the morning after the accident, begging her to rush to the hospital to be with John while I was on the plane there. Taking time not only out of her life, but also out of her classes to sit with us, pray with us, and be our constant communication between the hospital, our team in Virginia, and John's family. We could not have walked through this tragedy without Megan's steadfast help and sacrifice. So as a team, we want to extend a small token of our appreciation to Megan. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Brenda Moro to take the stage with me and start the SFLA Student Award presentations. I am pumped. I'm going to get all the plaques out.